Hey, this is Scott Duffy Bonsai. Today I'm going to take some photos with the GoPro Hero9 Black. Of course, this is for video mostly, but I'm curious to see how decent it is with photos. I did a recent video with the DJI Osmo Action, which is what I'm filming with today, with photos, and it turned out okay. There are limitations, of course. I put a little tripod on the GoPro just so it's easier to handle. By default, to get into the photo mode, you press this side mode button. It switches between 3 different things. And in photo mode, you can adjust these little circular icons to whatever you want. I put EV compensation on here. The touch screen is pretty laggy, so hopefully they'll fix that relatively soon. I do have a little screen protector that could be part of the issue. There isn't a ton to it, but you do have the shutter speed and ISO adjustments. Of course, these lenses are fixed aperture and fixed focus, which is the main thing to consider. What I've noticed is that there is shutter delay or some type of delay involved with this camera. The Osmo Action is a little quicker to take photos. With an ultra wide lens like this, you do have to be careful of your hands in the frame because they show up pretty easily. So like that, I can see my finger. Let's do a quick test. I'm gonna move the camera while it's taking the photo and just see if there is some type of blur shutter issue. It looks like there is delay, but it happens after the frame is taken, at least on the screen. So hopefully that's good. It's just the delay of writing to the card or processing. I'm gonna adjust this so I can hold the camera like this, take the shutter. So I think that'll work. The big benefit of a camera like this is that wide angle lens. It's got RAW capability to it, which I'll have to see if I can even open those RAWs, but RAW plus JPEG. So if you can't open the RAWs, you can still use the JPEGs. And of course the GoPro color and the other setting relate to those JPEG files. What I'm going to do, considering I have these darker glasses on, I'm going to boost the screen to 100%. I do have 2 batteries with me, so it should be able to hold out, although it's already down 10%. This camera does seem a little power hungry even when it's not doing much, at least with the current firmware. I'll do a few quick selfies, we'll do that. Camera back into my photo mode. With an ultra wide, trying to use foreground objects is a good idea. They will be blurred out, but you'll still have some interest to the foreground. So look at the actual technical minimum focus distance on the GoPro, which I'm going to check out real quick. According to some random support page, it says around 8 to 12 inches. Good to know. Now that could potentially be different for the Hero 9, but we'll find out. One thing to keep in mind is flare with this lens and the covering. I'm not sure, it might be the elements inside, but it has a like bright flare spot at a specific angle. Of course, that it's generally a thing that happens with wide angle lenses, but I did notice it when I was doing some video tests, and it's pretty prominent. So right about here, where the sun is this direction, it's hitting the lens. So I can see it in there. I'm gonna take my hand, block it. It's right about there. That's definitely something you need to be conscious of when you're using this for photos, because it's there for sure. And you can probably clone it out or heal it out with Photoshop or other programs. I haven't had to mess with EV compensation, but I think in this case I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna go down to negative 1.5. So far it's pretty convenient to use. I'm liking it, especially with this little tripod, it helps out. One obvious limitation of these type of cameras is the sensor size. The aperture, I'm not really sure what it is. I'll check up on that and see. Considering the smaller sensor, low light performance is not going to be amazing. It's just how it is. So if we're getting into a darker area, be curious to see how these photos turn out. That wide angle is super nice. I noticed on this tree up here that there is a mushroom I'm going to try to take a photo of, but it's pretty high up. So holding it like that is not tall enough. We're going to have it like this. I'll do the 3-second timer, try to get as high as I can. Of course, utilizing the floor, the ground is really nice for some photos. Get some interest in that foreground, even if it's not sharp. I'm going to use EV comp here. We're at -0.5, but let's try -1.5. That green on blue combination is beautiful. From an ergonomics standpoint, it's really pretty decent. You've got a little tripod thing maybe to have a better grip on it so you can avoid having your hands near the lens. Just have one single button if you don't want to mess around with anything at all. Just set it to photo, take pictures, angle your shots, position yourself. This is nice. Got the foreground object, some sun in the photo. One of my favorite styles is getting closer, getting detailed shots. A camera like this is not going to do that for you, so I'm trying to resist that urge to take those type of photos. Maybe it can help you expand what you're trying to do with your photography if you want to shift your style a little bit here and there. Another limitation, at least compared to full-on cameras, is that you don't have any type of articulating screen on this one. Now if you do get that RX0 Mark II, it does have a flip screen, but the focal length is, I think, 35mm equivalent. I'm still trying to consider that field of view on here, so I'll just angle this a little bit. I'm going to keep this hand out of the frame. The wind is so extreme sometimes my bag was making a noise. If I angle this all the way back, I can use it one-handed. Flipping this around, it's nice, those built-in connection points. What that gives us is more tilt. So now I can go like that. That gives it me even more. What you can do in post is de-warp these images to get a wide but straight view. When you think of wide angle, you might think of straight landscape photos, which is definitely an option, but there are a lot of other possibilities for this field of view. This battery is holding out okay. We're at 65%, and I've been doing this probably near an hour or so. Another thing to consider is that they do have a max lens mod, which makes it even wider. I'm kind of considering it, but it sounded like it's gonna be $100, which that's pushing it big time. Maybe 50, I'd go for it. If it's super nice, I don't know, but we'll see. It's actually very pleasant to use in practice. The touchscreen is laggy at the moment, but I did see some reports they'll be fixing that or improving it in firmware. Able to adjust exposure compensation, able to actually do shutter and ISO if you want. I didn't do that today, but it is an option. And of course, if you're just gonna do JPEGs, you can do all the different field of view looks. You can adjust the color profile with the GoPro or the flat. I think I have it set on GoPro, but that's just for the JPEGs, of course. Overall, very nice, works well for this situation, but there are the limitations like that, maybe 12-inch or so minimum focus distance because it is a fixed focus lens on there. Small sensor, so low light's not gonna be amazing, but very pleasant to use in photo stuff. Of course, it's good for video, so you can get a combo device in some situations if you don't need that close focus. Anyways, Scott Photography Bonds, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider subscribing. That helps me out a lot. Likes and shares, and also the new applause feature helps out a lot as well. Thanks again.